So this interview, we're gonna get away from like the whole press cycle of D-Day for right
Sure.
now, because I think fans are gonna want to know who the star is. So just wanted to go through get to know you a little bit better with some questions here. So
Sure.
yeah. So Wes, why did you decide to get into acting in the first place?
Before I answer, just want to mention I changed my name to Weston Cage Coppola, just so everyone knows. That yes, I got into acting because it presented itself very early in my childhood. It was a natural desire for me to entertain people, to tell stories, and to communicate through the thespian arts as well as music and martial arts. But I used to have friends come over, and we would get out stage blood, and we would do fight sequences, and we would create stories, and parents would come horrified of why their children were covered in blood, pick them up from my house, but they were so enamored with being able to explore that
Fake blood or real?
occasion. Fake.
Nice.
We use that benign. It's a great stage blood, benign, the minty one. It's
Okay.
get it in your mouth and
Ugh.
use it. Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome. So tell me about your martial arts a little bit, cause
Sure.
yeah, what do you practice and yeah, and why?
I started at the age of 3
Uh-huh.
doing martial arts. I've studied multiple. I did Taekwondo, Hapkido. I got my black belt in Taekwondo when I was 12.
Hmm.
From there, I started to do Jiu-Jitsu. I was trained by Hoist Gracie. Uh,
Oh man, that's
yeah.
awesome.
And from there, I went into boxing with Terry Claybon from, about 8 years old to about 18. And then my wrestling is what really uh, showed itself as my best ability. I was South Bay heavyweight champion, won CIFs. I had gone to a university in Iowa to learn how to wrestle from them because they are exceptional at it over there in the Midwest. And then I just recently received my master's certificate in Russian martial arts in Sambo. Um, so yeah, Sambo I would say is my base. That's the martial art that I really
Dang,
connect with,
dude.
understand. And I teach occasionally alongside with my sensei, Boris Brezhnev. He he knows every move in the book and every variation, and is a wizard. And I do martial arts mainly because I want to be able to protect those that I love and myself, and I think that it's a great thing to have and to know how to defend yourself against immorality, and it's also a great discipline.
Wow, I had no idea you were that deep into martial arts. That is,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
interesting. It came at the same time as the acting, all simultaneous. I started acting at 3 was the age when I just started. 3 to 8 was the age I just started like developing that skill set. So acting, music, martial arts, all of it, and
that's
still to this day.
wow. Um, yeah, I do a little jujitsu as well. So, but the fact that you wrestle and you do all of that. So Jesse Kove, I asked Jesse Kove in the interview I did with him, who would win in a fight, you or Chuch Liddell? And he said you, man. And I gotta say,
That's a huge honor.
yeah. He says you could beat the Iceman. So I don't know. Maybe you should try that. That would be like a good little promotional thing to do.
What an experience that would be. What an
Yeah.
experience.
That's awesome. So, throughout your acting career, what kind of roles have you enjoyed the most?
I really like playing villains
Okay.
because of the complexity.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I was just nominated as one of the best villains at a film festival in Vegas uh,
Well,
recently, and I really enjoyed playing this character named Patton in a movie called Get Gone. It was really interesting because I got to change my voice all the way down here, and I looked like this nightmare from the forest, which is really interesting. But I also like period pieces, playing leaders So of course, Lieutenant Colonel Rudder was a very meaningful and special role to play for me, because I also knew that it was a huge obligation, and I really do enjoy a challenge, and to have that pressure actually feels good for me with characters, knowing that it's of great importance. And for me as an actor, I studied at Stella Adler, Yada, when I was a kid, but I've grown to understand that my style, which my dad really fertilized, was not acting, and instead just becoming, and to have no acting involved. So I feel like with Rudder, I was able to channel instead of act.
That's incredible. So how has your dad kind of influenced your acting career?
He always taught me the importance of delivery and taking your time and really understanding your character psychology. He gave me so much wisdom and understanding in acting. I mean, I was doing school plays, and I had the privilege of sitting down with my dad, and he would look over the script with me and show me how to really dissect and analyze it. And I would go in there and just flourish.
Wow.
5 minutes with my dad is more valuable than 5 months at any acting school, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He is just...
He's awesome.
He's thousands of years ahead of his time, for sure. Yeah.
I became a Nicolas Cage fan after National Treasure. Like, that's definitely one of my favorite movies. And
That's an amazing movie.
Isn't it awesome?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an awesome movie. When you have fantasy and nonfiction together, something beautiful really happens, I think, between that mixture.
So what do you find to be the most rewarding thing about acting in general?
I would say the most rewarding thing about acting is the catharsis that you feel when you know that you successfully became your character, and that you've told a story, and that story is going to communicate something to a viewer and give them something that they can carry with them for the rest of their life, or influence them, or even inspire them. Because I think art is the highest form of communication. Whenever you can really connect with someone like that and know that you immortalize the art, it's very gratifying.
Yeah, and also I wouldn't have known who Colonel Rudder was were it not for your performance, and the fact that, a skilled actor like you took the time to study this man, as much as humanly possible, and then to portray him gave me the chance to get to know, a character who's been so influential in our history that I would have never known. I would have never known him to that depth. So
yeah,
it's
I
awesome.
appreciate that. I'm very honored to hear that my performance delivered that. And what I read about Rudder, I mean, I felt that it would be a severe injustice for him to not be known. He did so much for this country.
Yeah, it's just awesome, man. Really appreciative of what you did there. So, and talking to you, you could probably imagine I do a lot of interviews for actors and stuff, and seeing somebody's work on the screen and then talking to them later, sometimes it's kind of I know I'm talking to a good actor when it's like I'm talking to a totally different personality and person than what I saw. You never know, because I mean, and it's all good, but some actors, they act as themselves, in
Exactly.
movies. It's
exactly.
like he's the same in every movie, and that's cool. It works for him, but just talking to you now, it's like, wow, this is a totally different person than what I saw. It's a little trippy for me, honestly.
That's my specialty, is the chameleonic acting, and
Yeah.
I like the idea of chameleonic acting without having to get into disguise or anything. Just change your personality, literally become someone else to the point to where you're channeling an energy.
What is that like to be that for however many days, and 60, 90 days, whatever it is on set, and then to go on with life? What's that like?
It could be quite a transition. I really try my hardest to not be in character unless I'm on camera. So I've pretty much like hypnotized myself enough times to understand that action means leave your body and cut means re-enter. So when I hear action, I have trained myself to just kind of discard of Weston for a second and to leave him on the side and then to become this other character and then cut, I return back to my normal psychology. It took a lot of meditation to get to that point to where my mind is triggered like that now. But I try not to stay in character because it can get me in trouble. That's for sure. I played a Colombian cartel once. I couldn't get out of character for months. So, I mean, I got really too into it.
Wow. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, that's something people don't really realize is that that's an actual like thing that actors have to deal with.
Yeah.
What is to you the funniest thing that's ever happened on the set of any movie?
One of the funniest moments. Well, there was a scene on D-Day. There was a time on D-Day when Jesse and I were on the beach filming one of the scenes where we were exiting the LCAs and heading in Point du Hoc to scale those cliffs.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how funny it would be if one of the soldiers were making sandcastles on the beach while they were supposed to be doing their mission. And we look over and one of the actors was literally making a sandcastle, just like we said it. And it was hilarious because it just was so the costume is the exact uniform and the helmet and the gun and everything, and I mean the rifle, and he was making that sandcastle. And it was hilarious.